the Apostle John, the one who reported to us the beautiful page of the Gospel, according to the tradition, died very old. He was over 100 years old. And they say he spent the end of his life on an island, Patmos. And so when people knew that the beloved disciple was there, they were flocking, and he had many disciples. And on Sunday, because he used to spend time in prayer, just on a mount, on Sunday he was taken down by his disciple. It was hard for him to walk. In the place where they can have the Sunday Eucharist, breaking of the bread and receiving a word from the apostle himself, the one who loved Jesus the most and who was so close to Jesus. And every Sunday, every time, John was saying, love one another as Jesus loved us. Love one another as Jesus loved us. And this is like Sunday after Sunday, Sunday after Sunday. So one day, one of his disciples, as he's carrying him down, he said, John, let me ask you a question. Why do you keep repeating over and over again the same message to the people? Why do you keep saying love one another as Jesus loved us? And he replies, I spent so much time with the Lord. 3 years of my life, day and night. And that's what Jesus was keep repeating us. Love one another as I love you. Love one another as I love you. Love one another as I love you. In this way, your Father will be glorified, Jesus says in the Gospel. It ties the glory of God with the love we show to one another. So I think we realize, especially as Christians and Catholics, we know the love for one another is important because it's the way people will know we are Jesus' disciples. Yes, but how do we live that? One thing is knowing it's important, another thing is living it. It's not that easy to love one another. It's not that easy all the time to love one another. But I believe the way you see the world determines the way you live your lives. Yes, because the way you see the world does determine the way you live your life. If people for you are just obstacles, if people for you are just somebody who annoys you or is going to mess up your very tight and clean schedule, if people for you are just means to a different end, so you try to get things out of them, it will be very hard to love one another. So the way you see the world determines the way you live your life. And there was this man getting out of a coffee shop, and he had a brand new car. And you see like this middle school boy looking at this car, amazing, it's beautiful, it's brand new. And he said, you like it? Yes. Who gave you this car? It's so gorgeous. Well, that's actually was my brother's present. I just turned 40, and he gave me this car for my birthday. Wow, what? Your brother did what for you? Yes, that was my dream car. He knew it, and so the day of my 40th birthday, he gave me this card as a gift. Wow, I wish. He's expecting, I wish I have a brother like that. And the baby and the young kid said, I wish I could be that kind of brother for my brother. I wish I could give my younger brother the gifts he wants. I wish I could help my younger brother to fulfill his dreams. The way we see the world determines the way we live. One thing is like, oh, it's for me. I wish I have a brother give something like that to me. Or the opposite perspective. I wish I could be that kind of person who helps people to fulfill their dreams. I wish I could be that kind of person who can make his neighbor happy. I wish I could love one another the way Jesus loved us. And Jesus proclaims these words right before instituting the Eucharist. Jesus, and these are the words we say at every Mass, takes the bread and said, "This is my body." Takes the chalice and says, "This is my blood." And at the end, it doesn't say, "Remember this in memory of me. Ponder this in memory of me. Celebrate this in memory of me." What does he say? He says, "Do this in memory of me." There's a part of us that, because has encountered Jesus here, needs to do something, needs to change something, needs to act in a different way. Love one another as I loved you. Love one another as I loved you. Lord, it's hard, but because I received you in the Eucharist, I know you can make all things possible. Lord, this person right now, it's so annoying, but I know you place him or her in my life for a reason. I know that where I cannot reach, you can give me the grace to do it. I really want to have new eyes, because I know the way I see the world change and determines the way I live my life. It's so true that I remember sharing this opportunity with a friend when I was over at their place. He said, I travel a lot for work and I fly everywhere. And I said, well, it's great. I do fly quite often, not I guess as often as you, but these are great opportunities to evangelize. These are great opportunities to share your faith. You're stuck with somebody next in your seat for a few hours. And he said, oh, Father, I have a different technique. I have a PhD in fake sleeping. It's like, what? Yes, as soon as I get on the plane, I'm so good at pretending I'm sleeping because I don't want to be bothered by the one next to me that nobody knows I'm actually awake. I just don't want to talk to the person next to me. So, well, I can see how sometimes you are tired and you don't want to have that opportunity. I myself done it. Like, I'm so tired, Lord, I just want this flight go smooth. I'm just going to watch a few movies and eat, sleep, and I will be in Italy. But I said, there are times they made me regret this way of behaving. Because there are times when, as I'm going to the airport, I'm already praying for the person who will sit next to me. There are times when I ask the Lord to prepare their hearts, wherever you are, whoever they are, say, Lord, help me to share your love. I don't know what's in that people's life. And last year, as I was going back to Italy, I met it was a young woman, and we started talking and being very nice, and the plane is about to take off. And I said, would you mind if we say a prayer for the trip? She said, sure. And I'm do silently the sign of the cross. I don't know if she's Catholic or not, and I see her that she's doing the sign of the cross. Like, well, great. We're on the same page. And so, as we take off, and I finish my prayer, I say, so, you Catholic, you practice, and we talk to that point that I found out that she's from Florida, and she's been to Christ Renews his parish in Florida. And what's going on in her life of a young mom and a young wife. And it was a beautiful conversation. I was so happy and edified that I prayed, and I was able to share the love that Christ has for me with someone else. Because I've been in places where I didn't exchange a word with my neighbor, and then find out at the end that it's like, oh, are you a Catholic priest? I'm Catholic myself. It's like, missed opportunity. The Lord wants us to share love for one another, because this will be a sign for all that we are His disciples. He wants that so that, as it happened for the first community, as we heard in the first reading, people will be strengthened in their spirit, so that the doors of faith will be open to those who don't know Christ right now. Or like the book of Revelation was saying, so that we will wipe every tears away from our cheeks. Desire to share the love that Jesus has for you. Desire to share this very love you're experiencing here. Change the way you look at people. Change the way you look at the world. And the Lord, preparing your heart, will do that in you and through you.